It was 2:17 a.m. The track was completely empty, but one car in the pit lane was still warm, its engine ticking softly in the silence. I was standing there, hands shaking, because what I had seen tonight wasn't just about racing anymore. It was something much darker, something controlled, something planned. In this world, wins weren't always earned. Sometimes they were decided long before the green flag dropped. I'm not a rookie. I've been racing in NASCAR for years. I've fought my way to the podium, pushed my limits, taken risks. But there were always races that never made sense. Times when everything felt perfect, the car, the strategy, my focus, and yet I would suddenly lose pace for no reason. And then there were other drivers, slower, inconsistent, who would suddenly dominate like machines. Back then I blamed myself. I thought maybe I wasn't good enough. I was wrong. Everything changed the day one of our senior mechanics slipped me a USB drive. He didn't look me in the eye, just said quietly, "If you really want to know what's going on, watch this. But once you do, there's no going back." I laughed it off at first, thought it was some kind of joke. But that night, alone in my room, I opened the files, and in that moment, everything shattered. There were audio recordings, conversations between team managers, sponsors, and people much higher up. Calm voices, discussing races like they were scripted events. Let car 12 lead after lap 20, hold back the 7 car, adjust his engine mapping slightly. He won't even notice. My heart stopped when I heard my own number. Slow him down after lap 3, tweak the tuning, make it look natural. I froze, because that exact thing had happened. One race, I was running fourth, feeling unstoppable, and suddenly my car lost power. No warning, no explanation. I dropped positions like I was standing still. I blamed my driving. I blamed the team. But the truth, Cal, was far worse. It was planned. As I dug deeper, the truth became even more disturbing. Certain cars were being fitted with parts designed to fail after a few laps, causing natural incidents. Drivers were being quietly instructed when to push, when to back off, when to let someone pass. It wasn't just competition, it was choreography, a show built for money, sponsors, and headlines, while millions of fans believed they were watching pure racing. Fear hit me hard. This wasn't just one team, this went deeper, bigger names, powerful people, an entire system. If I exposed this, my career would be over. Maybe worse, maybe I wouldn't even be safe. For days I stayed silent, pretending everything was normal, but inside I was breaking. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Then one night, I made a decision. I couldn't be part of the lie anymore. I gathered every file, every recording, every piece of evidence, and reached out to a journalist I trusted. We met in a quiet, isolated place. No cameras, no phones. I handed everything over, and as I walked away, I felt it, that feeling, like someone was watching me, like I had just crossed a line I could never come back from. The next day, everything changed. My team started acting different. Questions, strange looks, tension in every conversation. And just before the next race, and they found an issue in my brake system, a small fault, but if it had failed on track, at full speed, I wouldn't be here telling this story. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a scandal anymore. This was a warning. And the biggest question now is not what the truth is. The biggest question is, will I survive long enough to see it revealed, or will I become just another name, lost in the silence of a system built to hide everything? The story didn't break immediately, and that was the most terrifying part. Days passed, then a week, and nothing showed up in the media. No headlines, no leaks, just silence. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like something is building behind the scenes. I tried to reach the journalist, but his phone was off. Emails bounced back. It was like he had disappeared, and that's when the fear really started to sink in. Maybe I wasn't the only one who knew anymore. At the next race, everything felt different. The garage, the crew, even the air around me, it all felt tense. Conversation stopped when I walked in. My crew chief barely looked at me, and during the driver briefing, I noticed something strange. Certain drivers were being pulled aside, quiet conversations, subtle nods. I had seen it before, but now I understood what it meant. Instructions, pre-decided moves. The race hadn't even started, and the outcome was already being shaped. But it was too late to turn back. The truth was already in motion, and when it comes out, it won't just shake NASCAR, it will break it. Heroes will fall, legends will be questioned, races people cheered for will be exposed as carefully controlled outcomes. When the green flag dropped, I drove like I always did, focused, aggressive, pushing every corner. But by lap 15, something felt off again. My car wasn't responding the same way, not a full failure, just small, controlled inconsistencies, enough to slow me down, but not enough to raise suspicion. I gritted my teeth and kept going, but in my mind, I knew they were doing it again. Then it happened. A crash ahead. Two cars tangled in what looked like a racing incident. The crowd reacted. Commentators called it unfortunate, but I saw it clearly. One driver braked a fraction too early. The other didn't react in time. It was too precise, too clean. And then I remembered one of the recordings. If needed, create a caution around lap 20. My hands tightened on the wheel. This wasn't chaos. This was control. After the race, I didn't go back to my team right away. Instead, I checked my phone one more time, and finally, there it was. A single message from an unknown number. No name, no details, just a link. And one line, "It's out." My heart started racing as I opened it. The screen loaded slowly, and then suddenly, everything exploded. Headlines everywhere, videos, audio clips, the exact recordings I had handed over, now public. The voices, the instructions, the manipulation, all of it exposed. The article didn't hold back. It named teams. It questioned officials. It showed proof that races had been influenced, controlled. Within minutes, social media went into chaos. Fans were furious. Some refused to believe it. Others demanded answers. I should have felt relief, but I didn't. Because just as I looked up from my phone, I saw two black SUVs pull into the far end of the garage. Doors opened slowly. Men stepped out. Not team members, not officials, something else. Their eyes scanned the area, and then they locked onto me. My chest tightened. This wasn't over, not even close. Exposing the truth was just the beginning. Now came the consequences. I turned away, trying to act normal, but my instincts were screaming at me to run. Every step I took felt heavier, like the entire world was watching. By the time I reached the exit, my phone buzzed again. Another message. This one was different. "You shouldn't have done that." No link, no name. Just those words. Cold, direct, final. I got into my car and drove, not knowing where I was going, just knowing I couldn't stay there. In the rearview mirror, I saw one of the SUVs pull out, following at a distance. Not too close, not too far. Just enough to remind me I wasn't alone anymore. The truth was out. The world was starting to see what really happened behind the scenes of NASCAR. But the system I had exposed, it wasn't going down quietly. It was powerful, organized, and now it was coming after me. And as the road stretched out into the darkness, one thing became clear. This was no longer about racing. This was about survival. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, dark, empty, silent. Except for the low hum of my engine and the constant presence of those headlights behind me. They weren't trying to overtake. They weren't hiding either. Just there, steady, patient, waiting. My phone kept buzzing nonstop. News alerts, missed calls, messages from other drivers. Some were panicking, some were denying everything, and a very few, were finally admitting that something was wrong. The entire world of NASCAR was cracking open, live, in front of everyone. Sponsors were pulling out, officials were being questioned, and the same voices I had heard in those recordings were now echoing across every news channel. I took a sudden turn off the highway, a narrow road leading into darkness. Risky, but I needed to know. Within seconds, the headlights followed. No hesitation, no doubt. That was all the confirmation I needed. My grip tightened on the wheel, heart pounding, mind racing faster than the car itself. Every second felt stretched. Every shadow looked alive. I wasn't a racer anymore. I was a target. Then suddenly, my phone rang, unknown number. For a moment I hesitated, then I answered. Silence, just static. And then a voice, calm, controlled, familiar. You should have stayed quiet. I froze, because I recognized that voice. It wasn't just someone from the system, it was someone I had trusted, someone close, which meant this went deeper than I ever imagined.